Hi everyone! We'll dive deeper into swales today. We'll talk about some swale myths, some opinions people have formed over the years, and I will tell you if I think they relate to facts or if more context needs to be added to these statements. If you haven't watched the last video, I highly recommend you check it out as I went through a lot of details on how to construct swales. Okay, so let's start with myth number 1. Swales that are too deep destroy the landscape hydrology. First of all, what is a swale that is too deep? I think rarely you will find instances of a swale that is 2 meters or 6 feet deep. That would be a channel. But I can imagine swales that are even 1 meter deep in clay soil in flat landscape. But usually it's not necessary for swales to be that deep because you can gather a sufficient runoff in flat country in swales that are 50% smaller than that. The recommended depth comes from your average annual rainfall and the crops you want to grow. In some sites, a permaculture designer will advise you to create shallow swales. It can be because you may have sandy soil, so it all depends on where you are, your precipitation type of soil and climate. Let's talk about destruction of landscape hydrology. This argument about swales doing that always amazes me. Let's think about it. We know that swales are uncompacted, contour trenches, gathering rainfall runoff, holding it for a few hours or days and releasing it back to underground. The hydrology of the landscape is the same, except we don't allow water to run off too quickly to lower areas. The direction of water flows remains the same as it was pre-swale construction, so the only thing that changes is the timing of water release, which is what we want, especially in arid climates, where water is so scarce. Myth number 2, trees are planted too high on swale berms. The roots can't reach water and the soil on berms is too dry, killing our trees and crops. Generally, the purpose of swales is to extend the time in which we have moisture in soil. If that's what we need, swales are perfect for our sites. So we can't say swales make soil dry or kill the trees. My trees are doing okay after 2 years from planting on swales. So there must be a different reason for the tree death. Imagine your trees planted on the field without any swales. Do you think your newly planted tree roots can reach the water easily? Maybe if you're in a climate where it constantly rains throughout the year and the soil is saturated and there is little evaporation, then you don't need swales and your trees are doing fine. But in different climates, after quick rain, much of the water is either evaporated or runs off the soil surface downhill, not even saturating the soil. I explained this in the water management webinar here. The swale in this scenario really helps. Even if your tree is planted on the berm and it seems to be dry, remember the berms have the same soil layer as you will find on your field. You have the subsoil and the topsoil. Watch this video and go over the swale vegetation chapter to understand this better. The difference is that the swale berm is uncompacted, so it is much easier for your tree roots to move around and grow. So the berm becomes more easily saturated because it has crumblier structure than compacted field. The other thing is, we don't leave trees just like that and observe how unmerciful the weather or climate is. We apply mulches around the tree trunks, so when we water young trees in dry season, the mulch absorbs the moisture and young tree roots have access to it for longer. Myth number 3. The wind can blow the trees away if they are planted on top of berm. This concern is actually legitimate if your soil doesn't have good structure and it's too loose. In arid climates, in sandy soils, it is recommended to plant trees inside the swale. So when the swale is full of water, in rare rain events, the tree roots have good access to water for a little while. In other cases, the trees are usually planted on top of the berm or on the berm side. Another thing is, if you apply thick mulches, minimum 30 centimeter height or 1 foot deep, then you have there's some good weight supporting the tree. Myth number 4. Swales always cause waterlogging. Depends on where you are, how big your swales are. How big is precipitation? Did you take care of water infiltration in your soil? If your soil doesn't infiltrate very well, then your swales may not infiltrate well. If you have heavy clay soil, swales are good. You just need to ensure the soil on swale bottom is loosened by deep ripping. Or before installing swales, you take yeoman's plow and condition the field. More about that in this video. You can also add gypsum to help loosen the soil. I have clay soil and water is slowly released within few hours or maximum few days after the raining event. We add slashed grass and poultry bedding to inside the swale, so it also helps to improve the soil structure underneath the swale bottom so it infiltrates better. Myth number 5. Swales are only for dry areas. Swales are often associated with arid landscapes, but they can be beneficial in humid regions, where they help manage excess water during heavy rains and prevent erosion, protecting soil integrity. And another thing is you can improve soil structure with swales by promoting organic matter accumulation and reducing nutrient runoff. The deposition of sediment in swales also contributes to soil enrichment over time, so swales can be customized to suit the specific needs and challenges of different climates. Just remember about major don'ts I mentioned in the last video. Myth number 6. Swales are high maintenance. So once established, swales generally require minimal maintenance, unless in some unusual heavy rain event something breaks and you need to fix either piping, level sill, spillways or berm. But the dimensions of your swale and level sill spillway sizing should account for these historic rain events that occur every 50 and 100 years. If you can't make these calculations, hire a permaculture designer. Another thing is, even your food forest or orchard requires some maintenance. You still need to do pruning, you still need to irrigate trees in dry spells, you still bring compost or mulches, you do chop and drop. So there's some work on swales like everywhere else, I would say, but if you set the system right the first time, it's actually quite pleasant to deal with. Myth number 7. Swales always attract mosquitoes. While stagnant water can attract mosquitoes, properly designed swales are graded to allow water to infiltrate quickly, reducing the likelihood of standing water for too long, allowing mosquito breeding. So by ensuring that water flows through the swale and infiltrates quickly, there is less opportunity for mosquito eggs to hatch. So swales can be planted with vegetation that discourages mosquito breeding, and also native plants with dense foliage can provide shade and cover, making it difficult for mosquitoes to access the water surface to lay eggs. And additionally, certain plant species such as mosquito repelling herbs like citronella, lavender, lemon balm can help deter mosquito naturally. Swales can support natural predators of mosquitoes, such as dragonflies, frogs, and aquatic insects, and these organisms help keep mosquito populations in check by consuming mosquito larvae and adults. Myth number 8. Swales always attract weeds. While swales can create moist environments, proper mulching and planting techniques can help suppress weed growth and promote desirable plant species. We have plenty of weeds and grass, but do I worry? No. Me and my husband learned to accept certain imperfections, and if we can't establish the perfect biodiversity all at once because of either the lack of resources or improper timing of sowing seeds or something else, it's okay. We will get there when we can. The most important thing is to have shaded soil in scorching heat, adequate water, and nutrients from compost or mulch material. If you start stressing about everything not going your way, you will lose all the joy your projects are supposed to bring you. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. Myth number 9. Swales are only for agriculture. Swales can be also incorporated into urban and suburban landscapes. For example, you could have a small swale in your backyard, especially if you experience water scarcity in some period. And you can direct overflow from your rainwater tank to swale too. Additionally, urban areas often face challenges with stormwater runoff, which can lead to flooding, erosion, and pollution of waterways. So swales can slow down stormwater, allowing it to infiltrate into the soil and recharge groundwater supplies. So if you work on soil water infiltration rates, construct swales properly and according to your annual rainfall, climate, and soil type, and if you avoid placing swales in areas they don't belong, watch this video for more details, then I think you're set for success. Let me know in the comments if anything is still not clear. See you in the next video, in which we'll discuss arid landscape design strategies.